The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Happy Wednesday, Keith Tebow here at FRC Media, and every Wednesday we spend a few moments with the Mayor of the City of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan, who joins us again this week. Mayor, how are you?
I'm doing okay, Keith. Got a little bit of a cold, but I'm all right.
Well, you sure it's not allergies? You know, people, when they say they have a cold, a lot of times it's allergies, but who knows? It's that time of year, I guess.
Got that right.
All right. So just a couple things on the plate this week. We've talked about this before, the search for a new school superintendent underway, really moving right along. Yesterday was the deadline for candidates to put in their intentions to apply for the position. Do you know about how that worked out in terms of the number of candidates? I know we can't get into any specifics, but do you have any updates?
I heard we had about roughly 10 candidates was the last I heard yesterday, but then maybe it was a couple of last minute entries that came in, but I don't know. 10. We have a few strong candidates. Some aren't as strong as the others, but again, we'll weigh their credentials. We'll look at the resume and we'll look at the job history and decide which way to go. I'm not a part of the committee. I did go to the initial meeting the other night. There's about 10 people. There's a few moving members because people that can't make it. This is going to wrap up the initial, screening will wrap up pretty quickly. And then we'll go to the full committee, which will then do public interviews with the people that are the finalists. And, we're trying to have someone in place by July 1.
Yeah. So, but it's definitely been a process that has been moving rather quickly. And sometimes people can say, oh, is it moving too quickly? But again, I believe the city's working with the Massachusetts Association of School Committees. They do this all the time, and I'm sure this is nothing new to them.
No, to them, it's a process that they have, weaned all the weaknesses out of it over the years, and they move right along, making sure that all the I's are dotted and everything's in place, and then they turn it over to the full school committee with the final candidates, and they monitor it the whole way through from there. So it's a great partnership. We've done it before. We didn't do it for Maria Ponce, but prior to that, we'd used them for the other candidates. So, hopefully we strike gold and we go forward from there. So we have someone that'll lead the Fall River Public Schools to a better, higher standard.
As the weather gets warmer, people are going outside some more, and we had spoken briefly before we got started here that it appears that even when I was a youngster here in Fall River, there was a lot of activity up in the far north end, the industrial park area, near the trustees area, where there's issues with drag racing and a lot of that activity going on. I guess that's been taking place again, but the police have been really on it.
Right. I think we've got some complaints from up there. They were up there last weekend. I think they gave out like 15 citations. We're on it. We have obviously we have some cameras up there. We're working with our partners in Freetown, but we just want to make sure no one gets hurt. It's got a long history of people getting injured up there, whether it's in a car accident or someone gets hit. We don't want drag racing on public streets. Go to a drag strip somewhere and do whatever you want, but at the same time, you can't be drag racing in the industrial park. It's just not safe. And don't go up there. I'm telling you right now, stay away. Don't get yourself a ticket. We're going to make sure we monitor what goes on up there and hopefully, keep everybody safe. Plus, it's loud, and we don't want drag racing on any street in the city of Fall River. So find a place where it's allowed and do what you have to do.
Yeah. I know that has been a problem, in years past, as well as I said, for decades. When I was a youngster in Fall River many, many years ago, we used to hear stories about that happening up there as well. So hopefully this will not get any worse than what it is, and people will pay heed, and knowing that there's some extra police surveillance in that area. Speaking of the police department, I'm going to be speaking with Police Chief Paul Coogan. The police department has released its annual report for 2023, which includes the crime statistics. And I know you had mentioned it before that, crime appeared to be down last year, and it was down well over 20% overall. Some, instances were better than others. But it looks like the city, again, it's a snapshot in time. It's 1 year in time. but it looks like the city is faring well in terms of keeping the city safe throughout the year.
Yeah, I think the police department does a great job. And when you look at the data, we did get the book, probably this sounds like the same time you got it, Keith. Most of the categories are down. It's just that what happens in 2024, if there's a car accident and there's 2 police cars there with lights on, there's a video up on one of the social media websites, and some guy walking out that hit his head on a tree or something in the accident. It's bleeding. It looks gruesome, and but in the old days it was just a car accident. Heaven forbid that hopefully no one gets hurt. But now it's all exaggerated and glorified, and with this constant instant feedback of look what just happened and look what just happened. We had a young lady leaving work here the other day. She fell off the curb and broke her ankle, and it looked like hell. But again, that's someone takes a picture of that and look at this tragedy. But it's all a part of life, most of it, and it's just things that happen, and exaggerating it and glorifying it, is to the detriment of the city. I'm not talking about hiding news or doing anything untoward. I'm just saying it seems like now that if there's something bad going on, whether there's a fire or a shooting or a fight or a domestic, it's blasted right on the social media, and people get instant access to someone's accident or someone's mistake. And I don't know if that's the best thing in the world. I hope we do better than that sometimes.
Yeah. I want to wrap up this week by going over a couple of projects in the city. We've talked, of course, ad nauseum in terms of the project at the Bank Street Armory. But we spoke last week at an event, and you were mentioning that the Lincoln School, which is being converted into housing, that's moving right along, and that looks like that's going to be wrapping up relatively soon, where people will take advantage of that new housing stock.
Yeah, it's really impressive. I had the opportunity to go take a walk through the old Lincoln School the other day. I think there's going to be 28 apartments in there. They looked like they had good size, high ceilings. A lot of the natural old woodwork is there. They're going through and changing the windows out. They're putting in the sheetrock now. They've been all divided up. Very, very impressive. You had a dead spot there. An old building that was just decaying and rotting away is now going to get new life with another vibrant addition to the neighborhood there off High Street over near Rock. And I think, again, this is what you need. You need people to move into the city that have money to spend, that have an apartment they're proud of, and go about their business. And that's what we need. And I really was impressed with the way this looked. It was all framed off, and all the rough plumbing was done, so they're not far from where they want to be. And hopefully that'll be on the roll shortly. There's a number of these projects that are still coming down the pipeline on renovating the mills, or Sacred Heart School's getting ready to wind up. So Sacred Heart Church, I'm sorry, is getting ready to get renovated. So it's all good.
There's other city property as well. I know the Silvia School is still there. There's a proposal out for that. Any update there?
No, that's going to be, hopefully we get some proposals in on that. There is some interest in the property. So I'm pretty sure that one may have to come down. But again, that's another eyesore we inherited, but we'll do what we can to get it going.
And I just want to wrap up that actually, as we're doing this tonight on Wednesday evening, there's going to be a public meeting at the Atrium and Government Center to talk about the opioid funds. The city is in line to receive close to $8 million in funds from a settlement that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts was involved with other states across the country, from big pharmaceutical companies that need to be geared toward, opioid treatment and, related topics around that. So I know there's a survey out that I believe that's wrapping up this week. And I know we talked about this in the past, but you're seeking public input in terms of how to best deal with the symptoms here in Fall River, but also how that money can help with treatment and the like here in Fall River.
Yeah, we're obviously going to target the money to Fall River residents to the best of our ability. We're looking at, yesterday we had a big homeless meeting. Tonight we have the opioid meeting. It's 5:30 to 7 in the Atrium, right in the bottom of Government Center. So come on by if you have some ideas. And again, we're being aggressive with this. We're going to We toured the homeless camps on Sunday, 3 of them anyway, and we are going to be hopefully cleaning a few of them out and getting some people into treatment and the help they need to get back into the regular flow of society. And that's we're going to try to get a little more aggressive with that, using some of that opioid money as a catalyst to move these people along the road. And it's very important. We don't want people living in the woods, and if we can get them back into society, that'd be great.
All right, Mayor, thank you for your time. Feel better, and we'll talk again next week. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Keith.
All right, and thank you for joining us here on FRC Media. Have a great week.